In today's video, we're going to go through how to build AWS Step Functions using Lambda and SQS with Terraform. So this one gets kind of interesting because Step Functions are built for the portal where you can go drag and drop and it's a really intuitive UI. But the problem there is building across environments. You don't want to constantly be building that or have to be exporting JSON to multiple different environments and making the changes manually. So we're going to go through how to build out your first step function in the console. Then we're going to export that and parameterize it so that we can deploy it to all of our environments with Terraform. And if you're new here, my name's Josh. I'm a site reliability engineer and I work on anything automation, DevOps, IT infrastructure. All right, so real quick, here you go. I have my main.tf set up. I have my provider set up and there's nothing in here right now. This is a blank slate, just ready to make some changes. Here, I just did Terraform state list. There's nothing in here and plan no changes. So we have nothing existing right now. We're going to build this from scratch. Let's go into the portal. Here's my step function. So I have not built any step functions in this account because I've deleted them all prior. What I'm going to do here, I'm actually going to just choose a template, just show how this is done. So I'm going to come in here, pick a template. I'm going to use this callback pattern example. So let's go ahead and open that, press next, and we're just going to use a template. This is going to deploy on a CloudFormation stack to start. And then we can delete this later. I don't really love CloudFormation, so I'm going to manage this myself. The goal here is that you're not going to be deploying this in every single account with CloudFormation. We're going to deploy it once, extract what we need, and then we can just build it in Terraform and have it managed. So while you're waiting, you can actually go here and press view in CloudFormation. And here is our stack. So we'll see it's still creating. I'll cut back once we're done. Okay, looks like we're complete. So here are our resources. Couple different things in here. Main thing, Lambda function, SNS topic, SQS queue, another queue, and then we have a role and our step function state machine. So I'm going to close that out. Let's come back here and just see what we have. So here are our state machines. Let me list that out. And then here's the wait for callback state machine. And let's go ahead and start an execution, just show how this works first. So I will just do this. I'm just going to add in comment hello world. Start execution. And there we go. So now here's the graph view if you've never used this before. So you'll see here, we have our start task and wait for callback, and you can actually view what's running in here. So here's my input output. The output down here, task completed successfully. So here's the details, and then here is the task definition. So we'll be looking at this later, actually. And then let's go to notify success, callback received, task starting step functions. So that looks good. Let's real quick just go in and view the infrastructure that it built. So if I come into Lambda, I'm going to open up SQS and then SNS. Starting in Lambda, here's my function name. So this is the one that Stack built. And if I scroll down, there's just an index.js here. So this is all it's doing. So what we can do, we can actually make our Lambda function in Terraform if we wanted to, and then use this as our baseline and make changes from there. Our queues now, so we have two queues in here, and we're going to open that up, and not really much to be looking in here, but this is our queue service, and then and then lastly our SNS, so we have one topic inside of here, and this is our topic. And we come back to our Lambda, you'll see here, so our SNS publishes, our SQS is a subscriber, and then our SQS triggers our Lambda functions. Okay, so now let's get into how you can build this out for yourself based off of what's been built for us. So the really good part here is, and why we want to do this, is that the console gives us such a good editing view. So if I open up my step function here, and I go to edit, you'll see here, I can just drag and drop whatever I want. So if I want a new SNS here, I can just add it. If I want an AWS glue job, you just drag and drop. It's really easy, really intuitive. The problem here is that multi-environment build. If I need to build this in 4 different environments from dev all the way up to prod, then drag and drop is going to be a pain because now I have to do it 4 different times to get all of the matching resources. So what I'm going to do here, if you come over to this code tab, and you'll see you can build this out as code here, but you wouldn't really want to be doing this as JSON. That'd be really difficult and tedious. So I'm going to copy this out, go over my VS Code, and I'll paste this in here. And then I'm going to come to the state machine definition in Terraform here. Copy this example. Let's come back. Let's paste this down here. And then I will just delete this. And not delete, but I copied it out. I cut it. And there we go. So now this will use the definition that is the exact same match there. Now, a few things here, you'll see it's looking for a role ARN. So I'm actually just going to copy the ARN, not going to create a new one for that because that's the same. So here's my role. Just going to copy the ARN here and paste that in. And then next up, the whole benefit here is that we want to be creating our own state file and changing it down here. So I will go ahead and name this var project. I want var environment actually. So now this way, if I'm building this in two different environments, it's going to reference the environment here. And now what we have in here is our SQS, and then we have our SNS. The step function manages those two resources, and then from the SQS, remember we trigger that Lambda. So the Lambda is not in here because it's not directly triggered by the step function. That being said, let's go ahead and delete the encryption. Not too worried about that for this. And now we need to create those SQS and SNS. It'll just have a name. That's all we're going to do. I will change this name again. Let's put var environment up here at the front. And then let's do a resource. Spell AWS SQS Q. Yeah, looks good. So now we have a topic and we have a queue, and this will be in each environment. So again, if I change this from dev to prod, we're creating new ones. Now what we're going to do is I can actually delete this from down here. And let's go ahead and reference it directly. So there we go. Now we're going to be pulling dynamically the output of this resource block and just adding it here. Let's continue down now. Let's make that change. There's going to be 3 ARNs in here that we want to change for this example. Let's go ahead and do that. And then lastly, our topic down here, delete that, and there we go. So now we're going to reference the output of these. And so we'll be creating a new SNS topic, a new SNS queue, and then we'll be creating a new state machine referencing those with the exact same configuration as the example that we pulled out. Okay, now those are set up. So for some reason, my language server is not recognizing the .arn. It's like setting it as a string. I'm going to run the plan and see if there's a problem there. So let's do Terraform plan. And we should see these 3 resources getting created now. So there we go. Our SQS queue, brand new. SNS topic, brand new. And then our state machine, brand new. So we are referencing that role ARN that already exists. I'm just being lazy here. If you're building this from scratch, you'd want to build your own role in each environment so that they're all separate, especially if you're using different accounts for your environment, which you probably are. But otherwise, this will dynamically reference all the values now. So let's go ahead and do Terraform apply. So remember, if you're setting this up from scratch, you will also need to create your own Lambda function like the one that the CloudFormation created. I'm not going to go through that because that's basic Terraform stuff, and that just fits to the needs of what your project is. But this is all about how we can build the state function and use that UI while also getting the benefits of Terraform being able to make multiple environments. So there we go. It's been created, and you'll see here it's using the dev user updates queue. And if I wanted to create a new environment now, I could just come in here, change my variable for my environment to production, and we create new ones. Everything else the same. Let's go just double check that it's been built now. So if I come into my topics, let's refresh here. Should have a new topic. We do. Let's check our queues. Do we have a new queue? So there's one queue here. You'll see this actually created 2 queues, but that's fine for this demo. I should have done 2, but here's our one. And then lastly, our Lambda function is still going to be the same. And again, we didn't change the Lambda, so there's not going to be a change in the trigger, but that's something else you'd have to be setting up. But let's go check out our step function now. So we come back to state machines. Here we go. We have our new one. And if I scroll down here, let's go to edit. And exact same setup. So there you go. That's how you can extract the JSON and then put it into your Terraform and make it dynamic for multiple environments.